This is IGN. Rushing through a team-up of the series' stars sweeps the legs out from under Legends' second half. This is your IGN review of Karate Kid Legends by Eric Goldman. Taking an amusingly formulaic, if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach, Karate Kid Legends echoes the plot of both the 1984 original and the 2010 Karate Kid films, with its familiar underdog story of a kid whose single mother moves him to a new city, where he's bullied by a martial arts expert before entering a tournament to prove himself by facing that very same bully. Even as you can roll your eyes at several of the expected events occurring, this sixth film does take one very notable zig when fans of the 41-year-old series expect a zag, before reverting to the template in the second half, which gives it some novelty, even as it will no doubt frustrate many returning fans in how long it takes to see the team-up the trailers promise. There are moments where Legends is able to recapture some of the original's endearing nature, including in the way it eventually brings in not one, but two familiar mentors. At the same time, it never quite locks in like it could, thanks to what feels like a misguided attempt to maintain an unrelentingly high energy from start to finish, that ends up making it feel emotionally hollow, because it almost never takes time to slow down and breathe. Pulling a bit of a storytelling crane kick switch up that helps Legends feel distinct, the 2025 kid in question, Li Fang, played by Ben Wang, arrives in New York not as a traditional martial arts novice, but as a rather skilled kung fu fighter who was trained in China by Mr. Han, played by Jackie Chan. And those skills then lead him into a situation unlike any we've seen in this series for one of its teenage protagonists, when he begins to train a middle-aged boxer attempting a comeback. Notably, despite being almost invisible in the marketing, Joshua Jackson has a large role in this film as Victor, the father to Lee's love interest Mia, played by Sadie Stanley. Victor asking Lee to help him train after he sees Lee's fighting prowess in action ends up filling a significant amount of the screen time for the first half of Legends. In many ways, this is the best part of the film. First off, because it is different and makes for a fun twist, not just on Karate Kid movies, but underdog movies in general. It's not often you'll find the high school kid character serving as a mentor to the older guy, after all. Jackson, per usual, is very warm and likable as Victor, and forms an easygoing rapport with Wang. At the same time, Wang and Stanley are charming and sweet together, as Lee and Mia's friendship and its potential for more begins to blossom. However, the second half of Karate Kid Legends is an overall stylistic approach that becomes increasingly distracting as it goes on. It feels like the mandate here was that the pace should feel propulsive at almost every point, and that is represented by an overuse of up-tempo music during nearly every training sequence and fight scene, and via self-conscious flourishes like repeatedly doing that overused gimmick where music playing in a scene comedically slows down as though the power went out to represent things going badly for Lee. Coming off the triumph of its extension into TV with Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid franchise returns to theaters with Legends, a movie which is far less impactful than that show, yet still reminds us why the underlying story and themes of this series can still connect. Ben Wang is a strong new Karate Kid, and it's certainly fun to see Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan eventually team up and connect two parts of the franchise's history, even as Joshua Jackson ends up as the surprise MVP. It's also easy to give yourself over to a story of this type, because underdog stories are easy to invest in when well done, and few have ever been told as well as the original Karate Kid. At the same time, an overly frenetic approach to the second half doesn't let emotional moments connect in the way that they could. That's often frustrating, since you can see how easily it could be re-edited to land better. But at the end of the day, everyone loves an underdog, and Lee is another one you can root for. Given this franchise is clearly not going anywhere, maybe they can do better by him in the inevitable Karate Kid 7. Karate Kid Legends' IGN score? 6 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest Karate Kid Legends updates, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.